Greetings. This is Paul Chase with Andrew Arroyo Real Estate. And today we're talking with Julie Cicero from Julie Marie Paints. How are you, Julie?
I'm good. How are you?
Can't complain. Today we're going to be talking a little bit different. Normally we talk about real estate and real estate market. Today we're going to be talking about 3 or 4 mistakes that homeowners make when they paint. So I went out to my network, and Julie was gracious enough to give up her time this morning. And we're going to talking about, Julie, so tell me about some of the mistakes that homeowners make when they paint. What's the biggest one?
Choosing the wrong types of paint.
Talk to me about that. I mean, what are my choices and when do I use which one?
So I have seen too many mistakes on trim and doors. I always suggest a high gloss alkyd enamel type paint that has a lot of durability. I have come into many finished properties and I have actually been able to peel the paint right off of doors if it is a latex based paint. So I suggest always a high gloss enamel if you're going to have something that has a lot of traffic or that you're going to wipe down and be cleaning consistently, especially doors, trim, and cabinetry. So that is one of the biggest mistakes I've seen.
Okay, so what type of enamel paint was it again?
I use an alkyd semi-gloss enamel that's actually produced by Behr.
Okay, so obviously you like Behr paints because that's.
I do. I have a huge preference on them.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about the difference between a cheap paint and an expensive paint, because
I could tell you that right there. My enamel is $40 a gallon.
okay,
You can buy a 5-gallon of latex paint for just about 70. So, but like I said, your $70 5-gallon, I can come around and peel every bit of paint off your trim and doors, where if you spend $40 a gallon, which might cost you more money, it's going to last longer.
gotcha. So paint is something that we don't want to skimp on, at least the quality of the paint.
Not always, no, especially in the homeowner. No.
Gotcha. Okay, it's good to know. So what are some of the other mistakes people make? I'm assuming, I talk to home sellers that really the money is made on what I call the mise en place or the prep. How important is proper preparation for a good quality paint job?
Oh, it's just about everything. The preparation and the time that you put into making sure that your paint job is going to come out is the key. Making sure that you wipe your walls down, especially if the people before you were smokers. If you try and paint over a wall that has any nicotine residue, every bit of that is going to show through. All the yellow stains, I think you should always go through and prime first, and then make sure you get all your patches and sand down smoothly. Especially if you're going to patch anything, those little patches will also shine through, like kind of like spots and speckles on your wall if they're not completely smooth. And once you put paint on them, you cannot sand them again. So the biggest thing is going through and making sure they're sanded down smoothly and your walls are wiped down clean. All your holes and seals are patched in, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have seen where homeowners have gone through and painted their own walls, and they filled in the nail holes, but they didn't spend enough time on, sanding the wall smooth and all of that. And then they painted over it, and then in the light coming through the windows, there were these splotches just everywhere.
Especially if they flat paint, because flat paint will shine those dramatically.
And you spend more time looking at the splotches on the wall than the room itself, and really cost them in the purchase price simply because buyers said, "We got to repaint this."
Yes, exactly.
And in a buyer's mind, that 40-gallon of paint became $120. So buyers just automatically triple the price.
Exactly. Your prep is everything. You could end up costing yourself so much more money if you don't take the time to just slow down and make sure you covered all your ends first.
What about, we talked a little bit about for the investor that's hanging their drywall.
Yes.
Does a quality paint job start with just the prep of the drywall, or could it theoretically start with the drywall itself?
100%, all of it. When you hang your drywall, you should always stagger it. If you parallel it and create all your tape lines parallel, your stress is all in the same areas, and all those tapes are just gonna, over time, as the house settles, literally start to give. And all that tape and beading is just gonna start to tear. And you'll see even in your ceiling, all the lines of your tape. So I always say stagger your drywall. And when you tape and mud it, please make sure you sand it down appropriately. I've come into many, many investor properties after a drywaller was quote unquote finished. And the drywall was just, the mud was so heavy. It almost wasn't even able to be sanded down smooth, to the point, like you said, it was like when you can see it in the light, that heavy drywall mud just flashes. So the drywall is also, yes, a huge portion of making sure that's prepped appropriately. And if you have fresh drywall, you should always PVA prime it first. Because when you put fresh paint on fresh drywall, it doesn't soak in and give the appropriate moisture in the drywall. You want to seal your drywall in before you put any paint on top, which you always use a PVA type drywall sealer for that.
Gotcha. And so the people at the paint store could point me in the right direction.
Oh, absolutely. And it's usually labeled even on the thing, PVA drywall primer.
That helps.
Couldn't be any more yet, but yeah, you always want to put a primer and seal your drywall in first and prep that before you even put any paint on top.
Julie, I got to ask you, I think you're one of the few female women painters I have met. How did you get into the business of starting your own painting company?
I get that actually. My father has been in construction all of my life, so I kind of grew up around it. I decided to go into more of a customer service management route most of my life. So I did a lot of business management through customer service, hotels and that kind of stuff. I decided to jump back on job sites with my dad about 7 years ago, and it just kind of fell into my lap. And he does a lot of full property flips from start to finish. So I've actually done roofing, flooring, tiling, concrete work, finishing basements, hanging drywall, literally everything, you name it. My dad had me do it. We just found out that painting is my niche, that it runs in the blood, and apparently everybody in our family for generations has painted. So I found out I absolutely love it. I love putting on my music and just rolling out painting houses. I love it. So I found that kind of mixing my management history with my love of painting, and decided to venture off on my own. My dad's run his business for about 30 years now, many different businesses, from kitchen cabinetry, countertop business, to what he does now. So I learned a lot off of him, and kind of just grew with him and decided that it's my time at 27 to step out and make myself my own business. So I look forward to being a woman painter and hopefully grow as a team and create a whole woman business team with me. So construction's not just for men, I found.
No, that's great. So what you're telling me then is you bleed eggshell white.
Oh yes, I do. And I can cut clean lines all day with no tape. And I'm proud of it.
Good for you. My wife, see, I discovered early on, since I'm not a really big fan of painting, that if I do a really crappy job of it, my wife has banned me from painting ever again. She's like, never again are you going to ever touch a paintbrush. Like, awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah, I think my fiance did that with cooking.
It's amazing. Once you demonstrated a complete ineptness, your spouse never wants you to do that again. It's like, oh, we'll hire that done.
You guys have figured it out.
Yeah. Julie, I couldn't let you go. What colors are hot this year? Seems like every year there's a new color.
Yes, there is. I actually just painted a house with Sherwin-Williams Color of the Year Evergreen Fog, and it is gorgeous. I did an all white on white house, white trim, white walls, white ceilings, all kind of the same color. It was snowbound by Sherwin-Williams. I did a little research. It's supposed to complement Evergreen Fog with like gray undertone that it has. So I put that everywhere, and I put the evergreen fog on the doors with some black hardware. It was gorgeous, and some accent walls. Oh, it was phenomenal. So that is their color of the year for Shurin. And then Bear has one called Breezeway, which is almost like a minty type blue green. These psychological, they're called psychological painters. It's what they do. So that's how they pick colors. I guess it's a psychological way that they do it. But they chose these colors due to the way that the world went last year, and how the world kind of had a really big shutdown feel, and everyone kind of has this feel of like, where do I go next after what we just went through? Well, all these psychological painters decided to come together and create a palette that's more like refreshing, that when you walk into these homes, it's almost like, wow, I can maybe make a new life here after what I just went through this whole past 2 years of the crazy, whatever you want to call it. So these new palettes are, in my opinion, some of the best I've seen. And these homes really do feel, they feel refreshing. They do when you walk in. So I'm excited for the painting and what's to come for painting this coming year. So
Is that something that homeowners need to do, and or do they just give you, the little color things that we get from Home Depot, say, I want this color, this color, this color? Or is that something that you can do and work with a homeowner about color selection?
oh, I 100% can. I do a lot of research. I'm a Pinterest nut. So I do a ton of research on what's hot right now. I'm always on the market. I'm always looking on MLS listings and kind of like counterbalancing, who's doing what's hot. But yes, 100%. If you as a homeowner are looking to revamp your property and actually up your property value, 100%, I will give you any kind of pinpointers you would like, down to your fixtures, down to your hardware, down to brush nickel versus the black atmosphere. There's a lot that appeals to the market right now. And one of the things is that fresh look. So if you're looking for advice, I can definitely point you in the right direction. I work around a lot of designers and investors every day. So I do know a lot of that sense, yes.
That's fantastic. So Julie, what's what's the best way for people to get in touch with you directly?
I do have a Facebook page if you'd like to reach me that way. It is at Julie Marie Paints LLC, or I do also have a mobile number, 717-621-8182. You can call or text me any day during the week, even on weekends. I'm pretty flexible. So
That's great. Now, Julie is also has graciously agreed to be part of my Homekeeper referral network. So you can find her on the Homekeeper app on my website of PA Real Estate Resources. So you can go there. There's an app you can put on your phone, or just go there if you need painters, other contractors, electricians, roofers, whatever. You can go there and find Julie's contact information and other people that are just generally good to know. So I'll also check out, Julie's Facebook page. I'm sure she's got the cute
yes.
little kid in there.
Yeah, it's still growing. So I am new in my business and I'm still growing. I have delved into paint for 6-7 years. So don't be discouraged that my business is new. I am not new in the paint world. I know quite a lot. So
No doubt. So Julie, thanks again for your time, and we'll talk to you later.
yes, thank you so much. You have a great weekend.